Greetings, thanks for joining us on this broadcast. So I was going to say something, but I forgot what it was. So here we are again on Reptilian campaign. So people have had night terrors or attacks or anything like that. Let me tell you, they've been messing with my job. Like, I get nightmares about my job at work, not channeling, but at work. Like, I'll show up at the wrong place, or I'll just wander off, lost, and I've actually felt myself walking somewhere. So they're just messing around with. I don't know if it's the Reptilians doing it. I'm not going to say that. I guess it is. So another thing about Reptilians, they're not trying to make them look good or anything like that. This is for educational purposes. They still have their flaws like we do. I'm not trying to give them a pat on the back or anything like that. They're all this perfect race or anything like that. So do they live in New York City? Of course they do. If you have not been there, but they're loving it at this time. Of course, there are many positive ones there, but there are also other ones that are like, let's burn this place down. So that is like the modern Babylon, the Statue of Liberty of New York. So Reptilians like the sewers. So you have like the Ninja Turtles in the sewers. Well, Reptilians like the sewers too. So just they like being underground. So another place of Reptilian hangout is obviously it's all around the world. Mongolia is another ground for them. So once again, there's all kinds here. So it's just Reptilian knowledge. They have something to say. I might bring actual Reptilian through. We'll see. I was going to go through the Elohim, bring in Reptilian knowledge, and instead of going through Reptilians themselves, I'll save that for another day. Also, Giants of Agartha and dragons. Yeah, dragons would be. So we're going to go through 3 different energies. Hope I remember to go through all 3 of them. So I'll have to leave that up. We're going into draconian times, you could say. So we've already been through them, but we're getting some really bizarre times. The other thing about, I wasn't going to bring out the election, but seeing how it's, in the news, sort of. So Biden wins, it feels like there's a military presence that comes in. If he does get the nomination and everything. So most likely, he might be around for 6 months if you're lucky. I'm not sure if you're lucky at all, and you might see the true government or shadow government. It's really hard to say what exactly is going to happen with that, but it's going to be weird times. But that might have to happen. I'm not pushing for it, but that might be what we have to go through for people to see the true darkness that's going on here. So doesn't mean it's going to be the end of the world or anything like that. But just, it's going to be different. So, because really, I'm not going to make any assumptions that where things are going, but I'm kind of avoiding the subject of the whole Biden thing because I don't like the energy of it. But like I said, it's not going to be the end of the world, but it's not going to be. The media is going to be kissing his ass for. It's going to be it's already pathetic, but it's going to get even more pathetic. And I don't know where that's going to go, so we just have to wait and see. It's a little early to say, but who knows where things go. So, it's strange times we are in, for sure. Okay, this is I'm talking about economy private sessions. We have one had channel. Google has Zoom channeling by phone. Got the shop here. I'm on November 11th at this. Sorry, that's wrong. November 5th still, because my energy was shot yesterday. It's not doing so great today either, but it was doing better than yesterday because it's something to do with Friday the 13th. I've seen the situation here. We have this webinar sign up. What is this? Social network, grab it, and alternative. This is where the library is if you're interested. Yeah, something to do with the third Friday the 13th energies. Just I think some of it's coming today too. So yeah, the Twilight Zone. So oh yeah, I did a video. It was on my Facebook. I forgot to promote it. It's in Sarasota. I did like a 20-minute talk for like a webinar. Nothing new that you haven't heard already. So just went into. I guess the one of the questions was interesting. Some people are apparently, I guess, to connect to aliens all day long, which I don't do. I mean, I do it for people, but usually I'm so tired out here. I don't connect to them all day long. I get through the day. I do creative stuff here and there when I have energy to do it, but that's about it. So, anyway. All right, we're going to reptilian knowledge. Make them happy, kiss their ass. Not really, but such a pain in the ass. Yeah, so maybe everyone else here can sleep better tonight. Jeez. Yeah, so if anybody bothering you at night or pissing you off or trying anything, it's probably reptilians. So I haven't challenged them in hardly ever. So they're kind of a little bitchy about it, I guess. So okay, all right, blessings. Here we go. Greetings to you at Elohim. Blessings. Reptilian, yes, energies are from, yes, other worlds, as you know. World that are just reptilian planets overall. Even the planet itself was like a reptilian energy. So it is a place of growth. Yes, they are also connected to your secret societies, as you know, your intelligence agencies, CIA, things of that sort. They are actually very good spies, as some of you realize. But they want to also show how proud they are of themselves. They are very Martian also, meaning they feel as if they are of the highest order of being, even beyond anyone for that matter. Elohim or even Anunnaki. Of course, they have joined in with the Anunnaki. They don't see the Anunnaki as a threat, but they also realize their genetic engineering is a lot more advanced than their own. So yes, they have a not all Anunnaki are reptilian. Some of them are, but reptilians basically feel as if yes, they feel like they're getting the short order of the stick. Well, they feel like they helped human progress where you are today. If it wasn't for them, you'd be nowhere at this time. So they want to get congratulations. They want to feel that you respect them. Then they might start showing themselves when they feel the need to do so. They're not known to show themselves. No, of course not. It's part of the mystery. But it doesn't mean that they won't start. Those of you that have blockages, that is the reptilian energy. Now, doesn't mean that you are reptilian in a high degree, but they usually are known to block certain energies. Of course, they're also known to make mistakes. There are ones that will block your astral also. So there's always a reptilian somewhere in your day-to-day lives, even if you don't think about it too much. That's part of your awakening, part of your disclosure also. Eventually, you're going to have to confront them because they're part of your energy. As yes, they're easy to tap into, that like being tapped into, but they feel like once again they are above the human race. Even if that's not exactly true, but they feel like they contributed so much to your reality that you owe them a great deal. Gratitude, that's all they're looking for. They're not looking for much. And understanding of them, because they will start to speak to many of you. They can speak to anybody, but they can get who wants to talk to them. So they can talk all day also, hours and hours, weeks and weeks. And yes, they can cause night terrors. Well, because then people aren't acknowledging their existence. They have their ways. So they're a big contributor to the human development. And not just on your world, but other planets too. They're still dealing with a lot of reptilian energies. Well, the Palladians yes, they're still dealing with a lot of ordeals with them. And your human experience in New York City, yes, is a breeding ground for reptilian vibrations, as Babylon was also. They felt they built Babylon. Of course, they felt they built New York City also. That is their hub where they hang out for the most part. They do hang out in your desert areas. But New York, most of them stay away from New York at this time, but there is still a great deal of them there. As you see, the male energy is very aggressive towards the female. That is a reptilian trait. One of them, of course, is a Martian energy also. It's being very extra aggressive. So it is in your society. It's just on how you look at things. And even those that are homeless, that has reptilian energy in. As many reptilians have been homeless also, left on the streets, nowhere to go sleep in a pond. So that's part of their vibration. There's other beings that hear to speak, not necessarily about reptilians, but we are here to give you some insight into their energy field. But I believe there's others to go further into different subject matters. Blessings. Greetings to you. Yeah, the giants of Agartha. Greetings to your world. As yes, we live in two different places, as you can see. You don't see giants roaming around in your society. Well, you do to a certain extent, but not to the ones when you see a giant that's standing in your sky in your view. As we are as tall as your skyscrapers or taller, for that matter. Our masses, or our energy with yours, is to protect your world. As many of you are connected to us, we are guardians of Agartha. We have lived among you. Some of us are Anunnaki, not all. We are a genetic engineering being that is just as advanced or advanced more than you, as we have difficulties just as you. Your time here is to realize, yes, your fourth dimension is actually starting up even more. So yes, you're going to go into strange times. But for some of you, that's normal. For some of you, chaotic worlds is what you're known for. You're used to that. Now, this world isn't full of chaos just yet. It has not to the degree of chaos that some of you are used to, where nothing makes sense. Now, you are in that field to a degree, but not fully. Some of you have just come from the Dark Ages and know what chaos truly is. So you're incarnated here to help others through chaotic worlds where this is nothing to some of you. This is not chaos. Compared to other planets, this is not making a lot of sense, but it's also slow. It's not as adventurous as some other worlds are, as some of you are very used to. The reason why you've incarnated here to bring your imprints here, a new energy, a new reality. Some of you wonder what the hell you're doing here. You're here to actually bring in new timelines for a new age. Now, that age might not have activated itself fully just yet, but many of you will start to share your vibrations with the earth, and you actually feel people changing, people evolving, the new age of your planet. As it goes into the new earth, you'll feel that timeline coming from you building that new earth, which is very important to many of you. This is kind of like a holding pattern. It's a silent time. It's a time of silence where many things are being moved around. Yes, lockdown means many are being sent home as things get moved around. Now, some might argue with that, but yes, the aliens are very much involved with this. Reptilian energies, from our point of view, a giant's point of view, a reptilian is, I guess, to some of us is like a skunk, smelly being, a difficult being to deal with. When it does not always get along with others, very useful information at times, but then becomes very arrogant, depending on the being. Some are very in. That's where the reptilians have problems with. Is that there's some that have so much pride they kind of overdo it, and others are like, just get your thumb up your ass. But you have a lot of that in your world too, where the ego gets sky high. But you're managing that well, as best you can. The reptilian energy, the DNA of it was so useful for your planet evolution. Even the first humans had reptilian DNA that not many alien beings understood how they even received it. So it all depends on how you look at things, but the reptilian brain has always been part of the human. Now it might have been they use different names for it, but it's technically always been there, even through Neanderthals and so on. Now others might call it something different. Some might see it as a different energy. Atlanteans had a different name for it. It was designed much differently than it is today. But we're going to say that the reptilian brain has always been part of your development. For this world, not all worlds. This world has been very unique. Now, did the reptilians do that? Some did, and then just disappeared. So there's a lot of knowledge of the ancient beings that aren't known. So you're a mystery world. So you're wondering what your purpose is here. A lot of aliens are asking the same question. What are you guys doing here? What is this all about? Yes, we understand of growth, but there's much more to it than that. And there is. Your world carries many secrets from other planets too, that of course you're not aware of. Some of it's Jupiter, some of it's Mars. Now, are these alien beings trying to receive that knowledge? Yes, but some of them kind of gave up because it caused them too much trouble. So there's a lot of archaeology here that a lot of alien beings do not fully understand. Now, some might say we have all the answers. Others say we have no freaking idea. We have some idea, but we don't have all the answers. No one ever really has all the answers. Even the higher dimensions, they don't all have. And even in spirit, they might have all the answers, but then those answers might not always work for them. It all depends, depending on the spirit being. There's mysteries everywhere, even in spirit. It's everywhere. It's part of growth. It's like one day you knew it, next day you forgot. It's like you'd be right. Even spirit beings choose to forget. Even there in spirit, where everything's supposedly perfect, they forget there too, so they can grow, even in the spirit realms. So at least they're aware of their forgetfulness. They're aware they shut that side of themselves down. You're aware of it, but obviously you can't just hit a button, turn things on, but you like what spirit can do, and you can't. Well, you're kind of doing it in your own way. Well, you agreed to a timeline. Your DNA agreed to a timeline too. So you're working with the Earth's energy, timelines, and direction. Direction is on what you make it. If it's doom and gloom, you'll probably find some way to create that. If it's some enlightenment, you'll find a way to create that. So everybody, yes, looks at it differently. So if you look at it positively, you will receive positive back. Some are used to the dangers of the future and they hope it gets raw and out of control, which it could. But sometimes at a wider vibration, it's easier to handle those things. But of course, that's up to you. As there in Agartha, not all of this, there is what was going to be Shangri-La, I believe is the name of it. Yes, it's in Agartha also. That's why a lot of Roman energies in Shangri-La. There's different energies there, different realities, different cultures. As Shangri-La is a place of fountain of youth, of living forever, it is a place that isn't, I believe, connected to very often, but it is in your Agartha Earth. As not all Agartha, not all these places connect to it. They do, but not everyone wants to experience it together. So, just like your countries here, there's a lot of places in the Middle Earth that are not mentioned, and not everybody feels like they have to interconnect. So there are great amount of Asian energies in your Agarthian world that help seed your world to what it is today. And a lot of them are mysterious. There's a lot of magician energies, magic beings that can fly and all kinds of things. So that'll eventually come more clear here, but that's one of the reasons they kind of just found themselves on this planet, seated here, brought here by different beings. It was like your world attracted the Asian cultures here because they're known to, especially where the Atlanteans were going. That wasn't always the case, but with Atlantean growth was not always. It needed a challenger. It was not always growing as it needed to. It was had a lot of faults in it. So the Asian energies were added to Earth. It made things more complicated, you can say. You can say there's one of the reasons why this world is at third dimension level. But they know what they're doing better than anyone else. So you're warning the Asian world currently. And more of that. They have a lot to teach societies. Yes, they're not always the best teachers, and they can be very intense. That doesn't mean it's a negative, no. Well, it might seem that way depending on the stress levels. But on this world, it's like they want to hurry things up. But they want to get back to their reality too. They want to get back to the 5D reality that they've left to assist your world in its growth. So, of course, everyone's different in their connections. It's always going to be an enigma, at least for now. Even in the future, it'll still be some kind of enigma. But as you see more of the Asian cultures connect to your societies, you'll feel 5D energy is actually increasing. Doesn't mean you have to wear Asian clothes or eat their food, but they're very, very much involved with 5D reality shifting. So, that's greetings. Greetings, you rare the dragons. Yes, your reptilian friends. Usually see this as a more familiar environment. As yes, a Draco or a warrior race, proud of themselves. They're the ones that kept a fire under your felines, for your felines to stay more active. As the felines thought they won the war and they can just lay down and do their thing, which is true. But the reptilians said, get off your ass and do something with yourselves. So reptilians are not known to be procrastinators. They're known to get things done. Felines, on the other hand, depending on the feline, is known to take it easy. There's nothing wrong with that. But reptilians are also known to make things happen. It's like, while you were laying down doing nothing, we took over your planet. So that's why some of you are workaholics, to keep your planet from being taken over again. So there's reasons behind it. It just, they're known to be workhorses, the reptilians are. Of course, other beings have followed suit with that. And it's been very difficult. Basically, reptilian beings are known to, well, everyone is just lazy laying around, they're always doing something, as you can see. Well, you look at your world a little bit differently. So reptilians, not all beings are like that, no. But The warrior race is one to continue to win. So many of you adapted their knowledge so you can win, but use it for more positive energy, to understand how they operate, to calm them down, to make friends with them. It's all about making friendships in the long run, because that's how you heal a war. That's how you end a war, is friendship. Because if you're always attacked, I mean, obviously, they're known to bites, but some of you have become more powerful than them and bit back on them. And so they'll get quite impressed with that. But then again, then they watch your ego get out of control. So they're just constantly on the move, which taught many other beings to do the same thing. The felines are doing it more. Canines are doing it more. Just everyone in your world is all doing it too. Trying to always get somewhere, always on the move now. It's not always a reptilian influence on all societies, no. But on your world, it actually sped up a lot of things. It actually sped up your lessons here, your own growth. And some feel like you're not growing, but you actually are. But that's kind of the joys of it, if you want to call it that. They just have different ways of using the DNA, where there's growth when you feel like there's no growth. Even if you descend, there's growth no matter which way you go. Actually, when you descend third dimension, as you know, a third dimensional human is known to make more problems for themselves. And that's kind of the beauty of it. They kind of do their own work. They sabotage themselves all the time. But that's almost honorable, depending on the reptilian being, to do that. To, learn more about yourself, to be your own problem, which is in many societies of human at this time. So when you start recognizing that and seeing the problem before it occurs, or healing the problem. So that's why the Palladians and Syrians are here to heal those problems. Because on your planet, basically the humans here to self-sabotage. I believe some of you have seen that. It is the nature of humans to sabotage itself, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. So you're here to, that's what, all these beings are kind of keeping you above water at this time. Keeping you, from drowning, because it's easy to drown in your own misery, as many of you know. Self-sabotage is the number one villain on this planet. So that's what your spiritual growth is all about. Healing the difficulties of the past. Healing the third dimensional human. This third dimension is kind of like in the Stone Age, as many of you can probably see it that way. In some regard, it is. It's the third dimensional Stone Age thinking is very old-fashioned, and that was done on purpose. So as you become more unison and connected with yourselves, the old world begins to heal. So, you don't have to go around telling everybody what you believe in. Just be yourself and allow your light to continue. In the harder realities of the 3D, and they'll feel the energy that you put off. They'll feel a change within themselves. So you don't have to feel like you have to save your world. Save yourself. Because you're like a light bulb. The world feels it. As all of you start to unite, and it doesn't mean you have to contact everybody. It doesn't mean you have to be in major conversations. You will eventually. But eventually the world will hear you. And that's the point of all this. Uniting the planet. Yes, one step at a time. So just continue in the path that you feel is right for you, of course. So we are the dragons. We're always sending you energies. Understand the reptilian, probably bringing more knowledge about them, as they have their own difficulties of they're not always enjoying themselves. They're not always finding pleasure. They just live in hard conditions. As you know, the alligators live out in the water while you live at home, sleeping on your couch. The reptilian is not really used to that. They're used to living outside. Now, in alien worlds, it's a little bit different there. But they're just not, they don't look at the comfort as, that's very feline of you. But they're learning how to do that themselves, but still keep that drive going. So they're learning a great deal from humans. Learn how to calm down. So you're dealing with some of the most powerful reptilians on their planet. that are very aggressive. But even they need a break. And that's what you're doing. You're evolving so they can take it easy on themselves so they can heal. So when you start recognizing them, they can begin their own healing process. Because right now they're not healing at this time. They continue to keep your world on lockdown, well, on the spiritual lockdown. So many of you are unlocking yourselves, and that's going to continue, of course.